At the start of the week, I barely had $1,000 in cash, and I had one goal: build a real bankroll. 2 days in, I felt hopeless. I felt like I was running in quicksand. But then day 3 happened. A seemingly endless heater, a slow roll in a huge pot, a heads-up battle at a stranger's house. And 17 hours later, I walked out $3,000 richer. I took day 4 to recover, and now it's day 5. We're moving back up to 2.5 with momentum. Let's see if we can keep climbing, or if it all comes crashing down. I buy in for $800, a little less than usual, but after losing a few hands, I add on for another $500. Now, let's play for real. I raise up king queen suited and get 3-bet out of the small blind. This guy is a friend of mine, but I'm still gonna 4-bet him. I make it 300. If he folds, great. If he jams, terrible. But he decides to call. Anytime you're 4-bet bluffing, you hope to get some help from the flop. I just didn't expect so much of it. 10, 9, 5, all diamonds. Okay, let's try not to scare him. I bet small. He calls and the turn's an offsuit jack. So now I've got a straight to go along with the flush. He checks and I've only got about $500 left in my stack. I think it's pretty clear I'm gonna jam, hoping to get the double up, but unfortunately he lets it go. Still, very lucky for me, and now we're up on the session. Then we upgrade to ace queen suited. I raise over a straddle and 4 of us see the flop that gives us a pair of queens plus the nut flush draw. Usually you want to check second pair with so many players in the mix, but with spades working, I'm gonna bet. The big blind and straddle call, and the turn's not great. I check it back this time, hoping to improve on the river, and I do, just not in the way I wanted. It's the ace of clubs, so we've got 2 pair, but any 10 makes a straight now. They both check again, and I'm torn between checking and betting, but the more I think about it, realistically neither of them has a set or ace king. We would have heard about that on a prior street. It's possible someone's trapping with a straight, but I want to go for some thin value. I bet 185, but in the end, it didn't matter whether I checked or bet, as both of them folded. Back under the gun with an even better hand. I raise it up and get 3-bet by my buddy in seat 6 again. I thought he'd learned his lesson from last time, but I guess not. I make it $300, and just like last time, he calls. He's got about $800 behind, which isn't much more than what's in the pot already. So as long as no ace comes, we should be good to go. But again, the flop is overkill. I feel like I'm too strong to bet, so I check and he checks back. Turns a 5 and he probably still doesn't have anything. So I check, hoping he takes the bait, and he does. He bets 225. Okay, let's just call and make it look like we've got queens or jacks and hope he blasts off on the river. The last card's an innocent looking deuce, and I check a 3rd time. Please jam, please jam, please jam, please jam. Fuck. He checks back. Not sure if I got the minimum or the maximum, but things are going really well, and they continue to as I slowly build my stack to over $3,000. I'm not really even bluffing at all. I'm just getting dealt the best hands. Let's see if we can keep the good times rolling with ace jack. I raised pre and got 2 callers. Flop doesn't hit us, and I surprise even myself when I check back. Wow, every hand has been a premium so far, and now I'm showing restraint on a king high board as the original raiser. I guess you either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become a nit. Anyways, the turn's a 10 and the straddle bets out for half pot. I'm still ahead of all the other straight draws, so I call and bang! Stone cold nuts for us. Unfortunately, he checks, but I still think we can get paid. I bet 250 and he does make the call. Absolutely cooking, and a familiar villain now joins the table. Bammer from the last vlog is in the mix. Remember, he slow rolled me before I got revenge playing heads up at his house. Maybe he'll get me back today, but it'll be tough. He just lost a huge pot and now he's all in blind under the gun, and I literally have queens. So yeah, I call. Everybody else eventually folds, and the ace on the flop sucks, but the queen right behind it is wonderful. It is possible he has a flush though, and the first card he turns over is a diamond. Second card, phew, It's insane how well I'm running today, but I do go on a little bit of a cold streak. Just being a little too spewy before picking up a suited ace in the small blind. The straddle's on and everybody folds to me, so I raise and both the blinds call. It's a dry king high board, so I put out another $35 and that gets us down to heads up with the straddle. Turns a 10 and I'm gonna keep telling the story that I've got a king. I put out an extra $100 on my bet, but he still doesn't want to fold. The river's an offsuit 10 and now it's an interesting decision. The board's changed quite a lot and I'm not sure that a third barrel makes sense. I have showdown value with my ace high and there aren't that many hands I would bet 3 streets for value here. I check. He doesn't though. He bets 350 and now after bluffing 2 streets and not improving, I'm thinking of calling. The thing is, he doesn't have that many value hands. I don't think he'd do this with king 9 or king jack. He could have a 10 or even something like pocket 6s, but he could also have floated the flop and picked up equity on the turn that missed. This might be dumb, but I call. And he rolls over jack high. He tried to get me with the Robbie, and funny enough, I think this is actually the biggest pot of the session so far. I've got the stack up to $4,000, and this is the biggest pot of the night. Just running really pure, consistently. What a great day, and I get a couple of racks for my chips as I'm dealt in. We all know it's bad luck to play out of the rack, so there's only one hand I would play. Oh my god. I raise, and my old friend in seat 6 still hasn't learned his lesson.
How many times do we have to teach you this lesson, old man?
He 3-bets to $100 again, and well, surely he knows what's coming. I make it $300 for the 3rd time tonight.
I think you forbade me every time at 3-betting.
No, this one's super strong because I was legit gonna rack up. So yeah, this time I had it.
Okay, now I rack it up. A picture perfect return to the 2-5 streets, and now we go again on day 6. Just like yesterday, I buy in for $800, and this time we get off to a good start. I kind of just bully the same guy 3 hands in a row, eventually felting him with a better kicker. So now I'm up a few hundred early, but then the double board PLO bomb pot arrives. These things have been my nemesis for months, but I'm running good. Maybe I can actually win this one. I've got trips on the top board, and with that last 5 on the bottom, only pocket jacks can beat me up top. I bet 75 and 3 players call. We fill up on top and hit a straight down below. Only one hand beats us down there now, and with me playing both boards, I continue betting for $300. That gets us down to heads up, and it's a 6 up top, not too concerning, and an 8 on the bottom, which sucks because that weakens my straight. Still though, I have a strong hand on both, so I put the rest of my chips in. I wouldn't mind a fold, but I might even scoop when he calls. I show and he shows ace 6 6 4. Holy shit, dude. I got scooped. Why do I even play these? By the way, if you switch the rivers, I scoop. And I can't tell you how consistently that happens. If you swap the rivers on every bomb pot I've played this year, I legit would have $15,000 in my pocket. It's so frustrating, but that's enough whining. I rebuy, but don't really get much going, so let's lick our wounds and come back at night. I want to recoup my losses, but it's not gonna be easy. I raise deuces over a straddle and a limp, but get 3-bet by the player to my left. I tend to flop a lot of sets, and that's because I don't like to fold pocket pairs pre-flop. I call, but I don't see any 2s out there. Still, when he c-bets small, I'm gonna call at least once. Turns a 10, no help to us, so I'll fold now, but he doesn't give me a chance to. Last card's a queen, and yeah, I definitely lose. No shot I can get him to fold an ace, but what about everything else? A queen, a 10, pocket kings? Let's go for it. I bet $375, and after thinking about it for a while, he folds. Very nice result, and we get king queen suited on the button. I 3-bet an open, and the 2 of us go heads up to a queen high board, but it's all spades. I put in another $80, and he does too. Turns a jack, which could help him, and maybe it did. He leads out for $250. Well, To be honest, I don't know what to do in this spot, but I'm always speculative on these monotone flops. For some reason, I just never give my opponents credit for a flop flush, even though I made one myself in the first hand of this video. I call. Last card's another queen, so we have trips. I don't know if they're good, but I feel a lot better about the whole thing when he checks. Now, I'm not sure if I even should value bet. I mean, he could have a flush, a straight, maybe even a full house that's trapping. But one thing I do know is that people don't usually like to fold to me. So I think this is worth betting. I go for 540, and after a while, he calls and mucks after I show my hand. I'm having a really good session now, recouping the losses from this morning and then some. I even win a double board PLO bomb pot. It wasn't huge like the one I lost earlier, but all in all, I rack up a winner on the day. The past 3 days of play have been incredible, but there is still one more to finish out this pivotal week. Okay, last one, fast one. I actually thought about playing the 5-10-25 game today, just so I could say I went from 1-2 to 10-25 in 1 week. Thought that would be a great video, but it's not going today. So 2-5 again. Let's keep running hot. Back in the action for 800. Still not totally comfortable coming in for a full 1K, let alone the 1300 I used to buy into this game for, but I'm trying, boys. I get dealt ace 7 of hearts in the big blind. The hijack raises, the small blind calls, and I decide to 3-bet to 150. The original raiser gets out of the way, but the small blind calls, so it's actually a very good situation. I'm in position as the pre-flop aggressor with a hand that can hit big in an unexpected way, but can also represent monsters if I don't improve. Instead, I flop top pair. Good spot for a small c-bet, which he calls, and the turn sucks. It's a third club. He checks, and I check it back. Last card's a jack, and he fires for 200. It's not a big bet, but can I realistically have the best hand? I feel like he either has a flush or a better ace. I don't think he'd bluff for this size, and what are his bluffs, really? So I fold. Not a great start, but I pick up 9-8 suited, and this hand gets wild. There's a raise to 30 and a call. I call, then the hijack makes it 80. Very small 3-bet, and all of us put in the extra 50 to see the flop of queen jack 8, 2 diamonds. I love these spots because you're always in good shape as long as you're only up against one other player. But in this hand, the hijack jams for 300, under the gun re-jams for 1600, and early position calls for less. Holy shit, dude. I think about this one for a while, but the thing is, it's very clear that my pair of 8s is irrelevant, and it's likely that someone has higher diamonds than me. So maybe I think about this longer than I should, considering literally all 3 other players went all in, but I do finally figure it out. I fold.
We gotta fold. Tell me 20. That's a lot of money. Here we go. I'll mess with that in the end. For this right here.
So we were pretty much dead since one player flopped a straight and another had the nut diamond draw. Not sure what hijack had, probably a big pair, but yeah, big pot.
I've done it before.
You used to call a lot. Now you call a lot.
I know.
Not going my way so far, but here comes ace deuce suited. I raise pre and c-bet the flop, which got us down to heads up. The turn's an ace, but it does complete the flush. So I check and he bets quite big. Not really sure about this one. This player is quite old, but he is not your typical old man coffee poker player. He's got that dog in him, and he's not afraid to bluff big. I decide to call. The river pairs the 3, which I like, and I really like that he checks back. But I guess he was just showing some mercy because he had a flush. Then I decide to squeeze 5-4 of diamonds on the button. 3 of us in the mix. Can I flop a diamond flush like I did 2 days ago? Nope. That is about as bad as it gets with this hand. I fold at the earliest convenience and rack up an L on the day. Still though, the week was a huge success. Let's recap and talk about what's next. So I started the week playing 1-2 and finished it at least considering playing the 5-10-25 game again. And overall, I won about $5,500 in 40 something hours of play. So nothing spectacular, but much needed for me. This actually happened about a month ago, and I want to clarify a couple of things. I think just from talking to people, it's very confusing that, you know, through the videos, I shouldn't be doing that poorly, but the past few, I'm pretty much saying that I'm broke. I don't like saying that, but it's just kind of been true. The thing about it is just that I don't record every session, and off camera this year, I've done very poorly, but obviously I can't really share that because I don't have footage of it. So even though I think most, if not at least half of my videos have been wins in 2025, that hasn't really been the case. But finally, in the month that has passed since the events of this video happened, I am back in the black for the year, which is nothing to brag about, but it's so much better than where I was a month or two ago. So I think now finally I can move forward again, which is the entire purpose of this channel. I mean, originally it was to get to the 1025 game and become a regular at it. And instead, after taking a few shots at it, I've just plummeted down to where I was playing 1-2 in the last video. But I now finally have a real bankroll again, and I'm planning to use it. So I'm hoping that the next few videos are gonna be awesome and big wins. I don't know for sure, but I'm gonna do some challenges and stuff. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. Could be a really great summer. Hasn't been a great year, but it could be an awesome summer. And yeah, I'm on the upswing right now, so hopefully that lasts. I hope that you get one too, and thank you very much for watching. I'll see you on the next KDog Poker vlog.